Greetings, Glitter Gang, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and today we are going to be working on the Vintage Staples album, which is this book right here, which is already a chunk. It's already a chunk. Oh, and it's upside down. All right. So basically, this album is a hybrid album of chipboard pages and inserts that are fashioned after crafting staples such as cellophane bags, paper bag albums, file folders, etc. We made a waterfall card as well. We have this cute little photo wallet, and where we left off was we were working on stacking file folders. All right, so we have one more file folder to make, which will be the 4x6 file folder. So we have a 6x8, a 5x7, and we'll make a 4x6. The 4x6 won't be able to hold photos, but it will be able to hold, you know, well, it won't be able to hold 4x6 photos. It'll be able to hold 4x4 and 3.5x5 photos. Okay, so we need to calculate the measurements for the smaller one and decorate all three of our folders. We actually probably should make one more big one as well so that I don't decorate the one that has all the measurements on it, because that would be very unsmart of me. Now, this is the little template for the strap that holds the stuff in the file folder, which we'll be using as well. And what else? Okay, we have one teensy scoochy little problem, which is a 4x6 folder will only be able to have one hole with the current holes that we have set up. So there's kind of two options here. We can just make one that's bigger than this one. That's an option. And then another option would be to put a magnet on the middle one, on the front of the middle one, and put a magnet on the back of the smaller one, so that will hold the smaller one to the middle one, so that it won't matter that it only has one hold. It'll still stay pretty aligned. Also, yes, just be aware there's a major cornfield happening today. I had to restart the stream 3 times because of the weather, I think. And we may experience technical disruption, and I may have to just, well, it may disappear completely, and I may have to stop the show early. Who knows? Internet has not been my friend so far today. So, okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let people drift in, get out of the cornfield, etc., while I make a large file folder. And then we'll do a recording break. I also have an extremely scratchy throat. I've had an extremely scratchy throat for a couple days. I think something's making my allergies go crazy, because I also have very itchy eyes. And so that's also something that I'm dealing with today. So we'll just, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Fun. All right. So we're going to make this guy right here. So the first thing we're going to do is cut this to be 10 by 11 5/8. I have a little Stormy up here with me. He's playing on the other side of the room right now. Although I think I just scared him with my paper trimmer. Yeah. That's a paper trimmer. Alrighty. All right. So this is 10 by 11 5/8. So I need to score along the 10-inch edge at 1/2. And 1, 1/2 and 1, and also 9 and 9.5. And then I'm going to flip it end over end and score at 3/4 and 9 1/4. And then I'm going to flip it end over end and then turn it. And I'm going to score at 6 inches. All right, so now it's been completely scored. And we're gonna fold along all the score lines and burnish. So gonna just go ahead and do that. Fold along all the score lines and burnish. Once again, we do have several cornfields, more than one cornfield today. So if you are watching the show and you're chatting, the way that you know that you're in the chat that I can see is you will see corn. I put some corn. Excuse me, I put some corn in the chat that I can see. So if you're in a chat and there is no corn, just keep refreshing until you get a chat that does have corn. Okie doke. All right, so on this, the 6-inch side, the slightly longer side is the back. So this is the front. And I want my little tabby doos to be on the front. So again, this smaller side is the front. So I'm going to line the front up with my mat. I'm going to line it up with one of the lines on my mat. I'm sorry for sneezing, but you know, there's, like I said, there's something going on with my allergies. Okay, cut from the edge down in to the innermost score line, and then cut from the innermost score line to the edge. All right, so you get this. And then I'm just going to turn it around, and I'm going to line now the score line up with one of the lines on my desk, and then an inch up from the score line, line up my ruler and do the repeat. So I'm going to cut down from the edge to the innermost score line, and then I'm going to cut down from the innermost score line to the edge. So you're left with 3 flaps, a small flap, a medium flap, and a large flap. We're going to remove the small flap and the large flap. All right, and then for the 2 at the top, I'm just going to use my scissors because it's actually just a little easier. And the way that I cut this on my trimmer is I just lined the score line up with the, when you look at this trimmer, you've got that groove. I lined the score line up with the edge of the groove so that it was cutting right beside the score line. And that's how I was able to remove the score line with the tab, because I don't want any score line left on this piece. So, all right, so now when we go to close it, we're gonna accordion the sides like so. and, you know, fold it. So we want our tab here and then our tab well here. We're going to do that on our punch board. I'm just going to use the envelope punch board, and I'm going to tab it at what, 3? Okay. Yeah. At 3. And then on the edge. And then I'm going to flip it end over end and do the same thing. I'm going to tab it at 3. And then I don't need to tab it on the edge. Not really. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the trimmer back. And on the front, I'm going to put it so that the tab well, the thing that we're going to remove, is at the bottom. All right, and then I'm going to flip it over and then flip it kind of inside out so that the tab's at the top, because I always want the part that I'm going to remove at the bottom, because I prefer to always cut up with this trimmer. And I have an entire video on my channel about why I always cut up on my trimmer and things, kind of just best practices for using this trimmer that can help you get straighter, cleaner cuts with this trimmer if that's something you struggle with. All right, so now I'm going to add tab to the flaps. I'm going to add tab to the flaps. I'm going to add tape to the flaps. Apologies for sniffling and all that jazz. And then I'm going to use my 1/2 inch corner chomper. So that is the blue corner chomper, the 1/2 inch side. And I'm going to use that to chomp my remaining corners. So I'm going to chomp this corner and this corner. And finally this corner. All right, so that is my envelope made. Just gonna burnish these into their accordion position. And there's the file folder. So we've got, we've replaced this one. So now we've got 1 and 2. All right, so I'm gonna just do a quick recording break here, and then we'll do the 4x6 folder. And actually, I don't think I wrote down the measurements for this one. So let me just, quickly before I do that, I'm going to just do medium. I know I wrote it down somewhere, but I think I did. So I'm just going to write it on this template, which is, it was not 10 by 11 and 5/8. It was 9 by 10 and 5/8, I think. But let's just double check that. No, it's 9. It's 9 and 5/8 by, is this going to be 9? 9, okay. So, oh, it's 9 by, is this really 9 and 5/8? Okay, fine, it is. It's 9 by 9 and 5/8. Score the 9 inch at 1/2, 3/4, 1, and then 8, 8 1/4, 8 1/2, and then score the 9 1/2 at 5 inches. Then the punch at 2 1/2. and a half. And then small file folder. Okay, we want it to be 4 by 6. So wide, it's going to be 8 inches. So wide, it's going to be 8 inches if it's 4 by 6, because the tabs are an inch. So add 2 inches, so it'll be 8. 8 inches wide by, and then length is different, because to make it 4 by 6, the back has to be 6 and the front has to be 5 1/8. No, actually it's 6 this way, so 4. So the back has to be 4 and the front has to be 3 5/8, so 7 5/8. Okay, 8 by 7 5/8. And then we're gonna score, it's exactly the same. Well, not exactly. So we're gonna score at 1/2, 3/4, 1. And then we're gonna score at 7, 7 1/4, and 7 1/2. Okay, and then 7 5/8, we're gonna score at 4 inches. And then we're going to punch at 2 inches. Punch at 2 inches. All right, so I'm going to leave this there so you can write that down, screenshot it, whatever. All right, so we've got these two. All right. And that way I have those measurements if we do more file folders that are not the big ones. So now I just need a piece that's 8 by 7 5/8. All right, 8 by 7 5/8. Okay. All right, so let's get out the scoreboard. And all right, I have the 7 5/8 inch side, so I'm just going to score that at 4 inches. And then I'm going to turn it to the 8 inch side and score at 1/2 inch. And 1 inch, and 7, and 7 1/2. And then I'm going to flip it over and score at 3/4, and 7 1/4. And then we're ready to cut and fold. Okay, so I'm just gonna fold along all the score lines and burnish. And all right, there we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the front. So here's the front, the shorter side is the front. And then just because this one is smaller than the others, I'm only going to give myself, I think, a 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to cut a 1/2 inch in. And then I'm going to put the score line at a 1/2 inch and cut a 1/2 inch and then cut in. And then I'm going to flip it over and just kind of repeat. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to remove the big flap and the small flap once again. All right. Go ahead and set aside that paper trimmer. Put your tape on your flaps. This folder is going to be tiny and cute. I'm excited to see it once it's all tabbed. I just want to stop making this album and just make an album that's only file folders with chipboard covers because of how cute the file folders are. All right. And then I'm going to use the 1/4 inch corner rounder this time. So the 1/4 inch. All right. Just because of how, wait, no, before I do that, I've got to punch my corners. All right, so we're going to punch them once again. This time we want to do the right side because we have, on the big one, we have the tab on the left. On the medium one, we have it in the middle. So this one, we want the tab on the right. So what we need to do is when we unfold it, so hold it so that it's folded with the small side in the front, unfold it and then flip it over and then punch at 2 inches. And then once again, okay, you're going to punch at 2 inches. Although on the back, you need to cut on the edge as well, on the larger side. So on the back, you want to leave a tab. On this one, you're just going to cut. It's no big deal. All right, now. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to get my paper trimmer back out. This is the front, so I'm going to remove the tab piece, and then I'm going to chomp this. And to chomp it, I'm going to fold up my little side because I think I'm going to nick the, I'm going to nick this, this tab, the accordion side. So I'm going to try to chomp all of the layers at once. All right, so you can see it took off, I mean, you may not be able to see it, took off the top of that. That's good. That's what I want. Going to do the same thing on the other side. I will fold all the layers together, although I don't think it's going to be necessary on the other side. I don't think I'll hit this at all, but yeah, on this side, I'm good. All right, so we've got those done. So now I need to remove that and then chomp that corner. So since I have my chomper out, I'll just chomp. Well, no, I got to remove the tab. I'm going to remove the tab. Bye-bye. Oh, no, don't remove the tab. What the heck? Okay, it's fine. I didn't cut all the way through. We're going to just do a little surgery. All right. And then, okay, so now that I fixed my tab, I can punch my corner. All right. Okay, so we are done with the construction of our 3 tabs. So I'm going to do a recording break here so that the measurements for the medium file folder and the small file folder and the construction of the small file folder are all on here. But look at these little babies. Look at them. Ah! How cute are they? Just in a little stack, even not decorated. Look how cute they are. Look how cute they are. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do a recording break here, and the next video will be me decorating the file folders. We'll start with the small one, and we'll work our way up. So thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who are watching live, just hang tight. Nothing's going to change for you. If you're watching on the recording, check out the other videos in the playlist to see how the rest of this project comes together. And check the beginning of the playlist for how to make any of the vintage staples that you see in some. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.